Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the final whistle with me, Matt Cadell, Chris James, the one and only Justin Riley. I'm getting choked up talking about it.
I have that effect on people.
I know. And our lead recruiting analyst, Dan James. How are y'all doing today on this Tuesday?
We're always doing well. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
It's not just Tuesday, Matt. It's game week.
Game week. Yes, it is. Right.
Man, I can't be more excited. And it looks like for the third consecutive week in a row, Chris is late.
Where's Chris? He's like the new Chris. What is he doing this week? We gotta find out.
Folks, if you hadn't really figured things out since Chris is doing what he's been doing, we've got Dan here. We're phasing him in, and we're phasing Chris out to being an analyst in the background. He's going to be hosting his own show on Google Hangouts. And when he figures out how to be on time, we might let him back into the A team. Wait! I hear something in the waiting room. Hold on, guys. Oh well,
Trip right. Trip right. Why over? Oh! What's up, fellas?
You offensive coordinator?
Chris the coordinator, baby.
Chris the coordinator.
Get ready for Saturday, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Bill can't do it. Chris can.
Okay.
I heard that.
That's right.
Hey. Anyway, folks, I want y'all to go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, get in this live chat. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We need you, the audience, to be involved. If you're watching the replay, leave us a nice comment. Let us know what you think. Man, I'm so excited, getting tongue-tied. Man, guys, the past 2-3 weeks have been fire for Bama. I mean, I know we have been, off the field, but we haven't been off the field. We've been on the recruiting field. Yes. And who better than to talk about this recruiting class than our lead recruiting analyst, the Dan James. Brother, talk to us. Come on.
Yes. Fresh off our best on paper signing class ever. It was it was an awesome finish, man. To close out with Desmond Ricks, Caden Proctor, and the two Montgomery guys, man, it's a great time to be a Bama fan. I can't say enough about it. And to keep what we had in the fold, especially Tony Mitchell, Caleb Downs, Justin Haynes. That's huge. Can't say enough about that.
Well, if you would, man, we're not done yet. We had a nice addition this morning. I was at work trying to get things rolling. Next thing I know, I'm getting blown up about this transfer from Maryland. For Tide fans who haven't been keeping up with him, who is he and what are we getting from this guy?
Yes, we get a accomplished guy. CJ Dupre from Maryland. He just completed his sophomore year, so he should have 2 more years of eligibility. A guy come in, he's proven, that he can perform, at a high level, for us. Much needed, with Cam Latu leaving, we could definitely put him in and, plug and play.
I gotcha. I guess one of the things that kind of jumps off the paper about him is he's a blue collar guy. He's not going to be that athletic guy or that guy that just burns down the field like O.J. Howard and Irv Smith did, but he's going to get those tough yards. He's going to get those balls that are in traffic where he has to battle, and he's going to pick up those first downs. Yes. I kind of wanted a guy that, that was the next O.J., the next Irv, but I guess we should be happy about what this guy's going to bring to the table, right?
Yes, definitely. That's what we missed the last couple of years. The perimeter blocking. You can't understate what Hale Hinges and Miller Forrestall brought to the table in that aspect. Is be able to block in space. And he's proven he can do that for us. As long as be a serviceable pass catcher.
Yeah, without a doubt. Fellas, what you think about this new addition from Maryland, the import?
I've seen that one highlight of him hurdling the guy. We beat out Ohio State again. It's like Nick Saban is just taking it to Ryan Day when it comes to the recruiting trail. I mean, he's just I don't know what he's got against Ryan Day, but anytime it's the Alabama Ohio State matchup lately, it's been Alabama to win. But great addition to our class. We've kind of been set back because we haven't had that tight end play. But hopefully it'll be a good addition to help us move forward. Hopefully with the new offensive coordinator and be back effective offensively.
Yeah, I think that it's a great addition simply because we're breaking in a new quarterback next year. And with that being said, what's a quarterback's best friend? A tight end across the middle. A tight end that can those easy throws, those simple throws.
Also a good running game.
Yes. He's big. He's 6'5", 245, 250 pounds. He's athletic. He can block. He's the kind of the unsung hero type of guy that you really don't see as you're watching the game, just on television as a fan, but as somebody that actually looks at the game and knows what's really going on, you can appreciate something like that better than just more of a person that just watch it casually. And I think he's a big addition, and it definitely bridges the gap, because I really don't think those young guys will be quite ready next year. I think they'll be ready. They need probably another year. The Danny Lewis's and the Nyblack's ready from a receiving standpoint, but as far as blocking, he needs a couple of off seasons. Lewis just needs to just get in the system and learn everything. So it's a good bridge to the young guys.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, speaking of the young guys and then Ryan Day, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Saban is, pissed off, I guess, at Ryan Day because we continue to dip into his recruiting pool. This isn't the second time we've actually stole a tight end from him. Earlier we gained Ty Lockwood, a 4-star tight end from Independence High School and Thompson Station, Tennessee, number 2 ranked in the state of Tennessee, number 9 ranked tight end. Another guy that's going to be a huge addition as he develops down the road. But yeah, y'all mentioned, Marina Black, Dan Lewis Jr.,
Miles
Kitselman. Where does this put them in the whole?
Elijah Brown.
Yes, Elijah Brown. That's another one out of Ryan Day territory.
Well, yeah, where does this put them? I mean, do they be patient and kind of wait their turn, or do some of them kind of get a little disgruntled because they got a guy from the portal, or what's that going to look like?
Yeah, the thing about it, you never know. You want to get the guy. It's competition. The cream rises to the top. So we'll definitely know comes spring, fall camp. That separate.
Yeah, definitely Robert Oots.
Yeah, good.
Robert
Oots. He's more of an H-back type though.
Yeah, he's the most versatile of all of them, I would think.
But see, this isn't like the quarterback position where you just have one guy. Like a tight end is a position you might have 3 guys playing, 4 guys playing, and like Georgia, how many tight ends does Georgia have? The more the merrier. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's not like a position where you have one guy that's hogging the ball to snaps. Sometimes we come out 2 tights, 3 tights, especially goal line, short yardage.
Especially these pro style offenses.
Pro style, yeah. 3 tights, 4 tights. It's plenty of opportunity out there.
Yeah.
We just need that head of the line alpha dog, because Oops is not more of an online. He's an off ball tight end, and Dupre is more of a inline tight end that you can split out. That's the luxury of having somebody like him.
Yeah.
Chris, what is this in the chat? I told you not to advertise your OnlyFans.
God, dog, he's doing it again.
I'm all about people being entrepreneurs.
Man, they keep finding me, man.
Listen.
I put up my spyware and everything, man. They sifting through it, man.
They sifted through it. Yeah, I should have figured this was coming because we saw the workout photos you posted on your Facebook timeline earlier.
Oh, yeah,
Man, I didn't know Marvin Constant was going to be on the night. Anyway.
Where are they? I can't see him. I'm just playing.
Whoa.
And that was the pre-Saban days.
But yeah, welcome to everybody who is a chat with us. Glad to have you here. But Dan, look at this class, man. Can't say enough about it. Who in this class do you feel like is going to be an immediate impact? And who do you think will probably jump off the page sooner than people think?
Okay, definitely. You want to start with Caleb Downs. I mean, he's a man. He's a day one guy. I like Tony Mitchell. The secondary hall that we man, it's next level. And with us losing, the guys we're losing in the secondary. It depends, and a lot depends on what Eli Ricks does. Is who else we can get on the field early. But losing Battle and Helms definitely is an opportunity for a guy like Towns, Mitchell, Hurley, Jaleel Hurley. One guy that I talk to Chris about all the time is, man, Yanze Pierre. I really like this guy, man, off the edge. He's explosive, man. He arrives at the ball carrier bad intentions. Him and Rousseau, man, they fly to the ball. I like the way they fly to the ball, as well as Caleb Downs. These guys arrive with bad intentions, man. I expect one of the young guys, namely Caden Proctor, to make an immediate impact on the offensive line. We've got some bulls on the offensive line that we brought in. So it's just going to say we're going to expect to be more physical this year. Dictate, getting back to Bama ball.
Dan Mullen, is that you? Line 2. Dan Mullen, afraid of kitchens.
Hopefully, you got Gary Riley on line 3.
Yeah. He needs to move up to line 1, and then you can have Damo on line 4.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, man.
But Dan, before I talk about the offensive line, of course, this offensive line haul is, man, scary. Not for us, but for everybody else,
man.
But one guy that you hinted to us about this past week, and I kind of was Desmond Ricks, and I kind of feel like you had something to do with this, kind of under the table. Did you drop a bag off at his house?
Yeah, man.
Can we talk? Can we talk about that late addition with Desmond Ricks? He was paid to go to LSU.
Yes, LSU had all the momentum. Yeah, I mean, we worked him late. We were in on him, run the beginning, but it seemed like LSU had all the momentum. He reclassified to his right class, and LSU got the visit first, and they got all the momentum. Then with them getting the last official, it didn't look good for us, but for us to to swoop in and get them at the last minute after LSU put in all the work, that that has to hurt LSU. I say we stuck it to them again.
Can I make a point?
No.
Isn't Raymond at Florida now with Billy Napier?
Yes, he is.
Shouts out to T-Rob. T-Rob is handling business in the state of Florida with this recruiting class. Shout out to Travis Robinson. He's doing a great job. I know Florida fans, it was good to see them melt on signing day.
Did they get Cormoney McClain today?
Huh?
I heard some rumblings about Cormoney McClain to Florida. I'm not sure how true that is.
That's all you hear is rumblings,
Been on that check to clear.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the dead period now, so
apparently they're
until the next signing day. So the late signing period, we wouldn't know anything. So you expect it to go all kind of ways, with Cormoney McClain, and I pull out Bama.
He's gonna pull a Zach Evans, be committed to TCU, be committed to Ole Miss.
But Dan, what do you think was the deciding factor and caused him to ultimately flip? Like you're saying, man, LSU was by far the destination. There was no doubt in Tiger fans' minds, even some Tide fans' minds, that we missed out on him. But what righted the ship?
Man, I say, the official visit You know, when we get guys on campus, you know, I don't know. We work out magic. You know, it's a team effort. You know, with the official visit. So you know, other recruits. You know, the guys on the team, the coaching staff. You know, the full. You know, Bama had the total package as far as developing players. You know, our history with development players, putting guys in the first round. You know, you can't. You know, say enough about that as well as the championships. You know, so I think that's really, once we get a guy on campus, which is why, you know, I'm hesitant on Kamani McLean, you know, we can't give him a visit. If we give him a visit, I definitely wouldn't count Bama out.
I heard that Chris took him to the Citizens Club. That was a deciding factor.
CC, baby club, CC.
CC?
Y'all must don't know nothing about that, man. I have my black and mild. Look here, boy. Let me tell you. You be great. You want to be great. You know, hanging up my mouth. You want to be great. I told him Tuscaloosa breeds greatness, man. Tea time, baby.
And you know, some of those guys have already started working on getting their name etched into the starting lineup. And then, you know, Caleb Downs, Brayson Hubbard, Miles McVay,
Justice
Haynes are already in bowl prep right now, trying to get themselves noticed. You know, this is a great opportunity for these guys. And I kind of wonder how many reps are they going to be given? You know, what kind of looks are we going to have? You know, what do these guys actually do for the team right now?
Right now, it's just getting acclimated, you know, to how we do things. You know, it's going to be very beneficial to them down the road. Yeah.
So with spring, when you get this type of practice in before spring ball, they'll probably run with the ones in spring. Just, you know,
and Chris, you know that bowl practice be fun. It's like another spring.
Yeah. It's like another spring.
It's like another spring training. So it's, you know, getting a lot of reps. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. So usually where a guy would come in as a 3 during the fall, you know what I'm saying? Now he gets bowl prep reps, he gets spring reps. Now before spring over, you know, Caleb Down might be running with the ones, you know, by April. You know what I'm saying? So by 8A. So
I think his best position, watching his tape, because he's all over the field at the safety. I think maybe like a star or money.
Boy, that's what I put. I made a post about that today on Bama Online.
This guy can, man.
Well, we see eye to eye, brother.
The way he manipulates offenses and picks, and man, it's crazy, man.
The Minka Fitzpatrick. Every year Bama had an elite star was when we had our best defenses. DeQuan Minzy, Javi Arenas, Minka Fitzpatrick, 2016 defense, that 2016 defense, that 2011 defense with Minzy, the 2009 defense with Javi. Whenever we had our best defenses, our star position was had a warrior right there.
Yeah.
People understand how critical that is because he plays closer to the line of scrimmage. You're in the box pretty much. You can blitz in. You can send them. You can drop them into coverage. You can play man to man. You can drop them to the flats, curve. You know, it doesn't matter. You can do so much more with that slot guy, Honey Badger.
Yeah,
that's what he played when he was at LSU. And look how he changed the game.
I get an Ed Reed type vibe from him when he was playing with the Baltimore Ravens. Just type of downhill, physical, athletic, manipulative type safety that can be a defense.
Also cover, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I get. That's a good comparison.
Hey, speaking of Ed Reed, shout out to that. He just became the head coach.
Cookman. Yes, that's huge. Yeah.
That's huge.
He's gonna bring on hey, you know they're gonna Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis. Oh boy, they're gonna have some parties down there, Bethune on the beach. Weekend.
I don't think anybody will gain a yard against them. But you know, watching tape earlier of Brayson Hubbard, his footwork looked really well. He looked like he was natural at the defensive back position. Right. I mean, he's just a stellar athlete. Of course, he did his thing.
Put him at offense, receiver, do everything right.
Yes, I like to see him on the offensive side of the ball as well. Yeah,
how do you not consider create some kind of package for him, kind of like a Charles Woodson type situation? You know, if we actually have a coordinator that's competent coming in, whoever that may be, he has to consider using him, you know, in that type of role. Yes, Chris.
You got to get my boy Jake Pope over there first now.
Oh yeah.
Pope was,
I haven't got a Pope.
Pope was the man at Buford now. The receiver, DB, he did it all.
Oh, he did.
Pope was that guy. You got to give Pope the first look now.
Pope. I hope he turns out to be like a Hunter Renfro type.
Pope was cold, but Pope's longer though. He's bigger because Pope is longer, bigger, and he was so smooth, man. I watched.
He has a little more pop than Hubbard. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched him and Bun, Buford, KJ Bolden. Oh my God, man, that's just unreal, man.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, I had forgot about him. I don't want people to think that he's been pushed aside for these other guys, but I was impressed with him. You know, this past season coming into Bama out of high school.
We're truly spoiled.
We are. We're self-absorbed too.
Yeah.
Cool Christian story.
Yeah. He was another very similar to Hubbard. You know, he was awesome with the ball in the hand. Christian story. I'm like, man, this guy here, we got to get an offensive package for him. You know, Wildcat something. You know, I love, you know, Christian story coming out of high school. You know, on offense.
I agree.
Another guy to watch out for. I know we getting a little bit off topic, but Devontae Smith. He's another guy that really is getting a lot of playing time towards the end of the season. And he really showed something in that backside of the defense. I feel like that he was catching on quickly, seemed very confident, very relaxed. And I think he's going to be a guy that Bama fans need to consider, you know, going into spring.
Well, he may come out of spring as a leader in the clubhouse in one of those safety positions.
We got a lot of guys. You know, don't forget Earl Little as well.
Woo!
Oh, gosh.
I'll let you go, Chris, about
No, you go ahead.
I watched tape from practice, you know, him going through drills. Man, this guy could be our Surtain or something like that. Another Mika, because I think he's going to be the X factor that nobody's talking about that's going to surprise a lot of people next year.
See, Earl will be that guy that'll start if Rich leaves.
Yeah.
A little. But then to me, like personally, like I always said, Terrion Arnold needs to be at safety, man.
Me too.
Like man, we just have it's just so embarrassing to reach. But me personally, I have Terrion at one safety. I have Tony Mitchell at the other safety. You got two ball hawk field school guys that can cover sideline to sideline. I have
Downs and Star
in the slot at the star. I have Malachi. I have Malachi at the money. I have Kool-Aid and Rick's at corner. Or if Rick's gone, it'll be Earl Little. Man, look at here. Then you got those other guys that you could just
versatility. You know, that's good to have. You know, that's the type of
Hurley
we've been going after in the secondary the last couple of years.
You got Antonio Kite. People forget about him.
Yeah, Kite nasty.
Fagans, you know.
Fagans. Oh my God, man.
Embarrassment of riches, no doubt.
Jaquez Robinson.
Yeah.
He looks good, man. He was getting some time last year.
Yeah.
So but it's always going to be two guys that we don't expect that's going to be in that lineup.
Right.
Always.
Like Malachi Moore, you know, he stepped on campus and he I'm that guy.
It's always two guys that we don't expect that's going to be.
Malachi can be that guy. We just got to keep him healthy long enough for him to excel. I mean, you're looking at a guy that his freshman year balled out. I mean, he looked like a Jim Thorpe Award guy. He looked like a first-round surefire guy, and then he starts having back issues and shin splints and just things that were beyond his control that kept him off the field. And when he was off the field, he had guys step up like Brian Branch, and Brian Branch hasn't looked back.
They told you, man.
Branch, his tape, he's on top 15. I don't care what nobody says.
Told folks, man, Branch is a bone, man. Branch is cold, man. Branch is the closest thing to Minka we had.
His tape is unreal.
It was a toss-up between him and Kool-Aid, who was our best secondary defender this year. Yeah.
Branch. Man, when Branch ran that punt return, man, that one time he returned the punt, I said, "Oh my God!" He turned on the gear like, wow. What was that again?
Had nitro in his legs.
Oh
dude.
my God, man, that's what I'm saying. And then teams stopped punting us like the last 4 or 5 games of the year. They didn't even give us a chance to return. They'd rather kick a 35-yard sky kick, make us fair catch it than the
Our defensive backs are getting more separation than our receivers.
Wow.
True.
Well,
that's a point, man. Hey, that's a point going into next year. I hear a lot of people talking about, well, Ty Simpson, he needs to be the starter, yada 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 yada. I was like, I can see that. I can agree with you, but I was like, our receivers had so much trouble getting separation with Bryce Young throwing to him. I said, how I wouldn't be opposed to going back, bringing Dan Mullen in and going to a power run attack.
All right.
With the backs we're bringing in, Justice Haynes. Everybody knows how physical Jamario Miller is, and then Roydell and
Jace.
Jace.
Jake's gonna be gone, man. He's out of here. I don't think he's coming back. He's gone. He's draft pick. But
wow.
Think about it, man. If you
got a hot take right here, folks. Jace McClellan declaring for the draft. Speaking of declaring for the draft, we just lost our kicker, man. Will Riker declared for the NFL draft today.
Yes.
We'd love to see him come back for one more year.
Well, we knew because last week he announced for the Senior Bowl. He was doing the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he accepted an invitation, last week or something like that?
Right.
Yeah, when Toronto accepted his, I was like, yes!
Yeah.
Now we need Bill O'Brien and the Golden to accept theirs. Yes!
It's funny watching the Skies Falling crew come along when he announced that. Listen, we got a good kicker coming in this 2023 recruiting class. Hunter
Talty, whatever.
Yes, he's got quite a boot on him too.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
Never fear, Coach Saban's got that under control. And no, we're not going to go back to that abyss of kicking deficiency that we lived in for decades.
Pastor Nostos. Hey, check this out though. Check this out. Don't be surprised if we get something out the portal too, just for competition purposes. He may go get a veteran out the portal.
Yeah, the portal is always going to be beneficial to us.
he's gonna get a kick out the portal to go along just for competition purposes. Watch now.
Okay.
We lost Martin.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm mad about that still. Yeah. I think this is a solid guy.
You're next in line. You're like the heir to the throne, and you leave.
That didn't make sense to me at all. He felt like the next big guy as a kicker. Solid dude, man. Very rarely did I ever see him miss. I thought he was going, like you said, take the reins, and we don't look back, and we continue to assert our dominance in the kicking game. But no,
maybe Jaheim Otis ran him off. You know, Jaheim Otis kicked in high school.
I would love to see Jaheim Otis
straight on.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit. We're still kind of talking about Alabama, but let's go to the NFL. One of the biggest topics right now is Tua Tagovailoa in his relationship with concussions. It's not a good one, and it's an abusive relationship, and it's happened way too often this year. And of course, the Miami Dolphins and the NFL have come under a lot of scrutiny because of how they've handled it. Well, the question is now, not only should Tua come back for the remainder of the season. Yes, I get the Miami Dolphins on the fringe of getting into the playoffs, but you also have to look at a health standpoint. Should Tua Tagovailoa come back this season, or are we possibly looking at it at all? Guys, what are your immediate thoughts? Because he's taking too much of a pounding this year. And I know the first thing that comes out of a lot of fans' mouths is that he's injury prone. He's too small. He's frail, blah, blah, blah. Listen, you can't help when your head gets slammed into the turf.
Right.
You know, that has nothing to do with your physical stature. That just is something going the wrong way. But guys, ultimately, you know, what should Tua Tagovailoa do?
I mean, I'm no doctor, but go ahead, Matt.
No, you go, Dan.
Yeah. I'm no doctor, but man, you know, if he is my son, hey, that'd be it. That he would have played his last down. It's more to life, and his health should be immediate concern. Regardless, the team, his health should be the team concern, his concern, his family's concern. They need to make a highly educated decision about his future and his health and his life in the NFL.
Yeah.
My take, I love Tua, but I think sometimes Tua got to know how to fall, like getting hit to the ground. Like I watch Joe Burrow, I watch these other quarterbacks. Like they take the same hits, but they're not like, hitting their head on the ground. I mean, not to say, but I do think Tua can work on some of those things. I think Miami can run the ball a little bit more. It seems like Tua gets injured on the same play where he's scrambling back to when he got hurt in Missouri game, Mississippi State game, the concussions this year. It's some type of pass where he's throwing it late and the guy either slams him or something. It seems like it's the same play that keeps reoccurring for this young man. And to your point, Justin, I hope, he does get well in health and safety, but I just think it's got to be a group effort. I think somebody in the Miami organization need to say, hey, Tua, we're going to take you to a QB specialist to work on getting hit, how to fall down, those type of things that can help prevent these things. And B, I think the Miami organization, if this is their franchise quarterback, they need to, wrap their arms around and truly invest into him. Because when he's healthy, I mean, this is their Super Bowl window to make a run. They got everything in place. So, that's just my two thoughts. But I hope Tua gets healthy, for sure.
Yeah, well, personally, I think that it's time to shut him down for the year because you'd rather have him. You got to ask yourself, how close are we to winning the Super Bowl? I mean, they could contend. They could contend.
Chiefs.
But what's more important, his health, his long-term health, or, being a long shot to win the Super Bowl right now, or his long-term health, which is more important? It is obviously his long-term health. So I probably would shut him down for the year, man. Just bite the dust, shut him down for a year. Evaluate him throughout the spring and summer, and see how he bounces back. And I'd say if he gets another concussion, it might be time to call it quits, man.
That's what I'm concerned about. At this point, I mean, he has 3 concussions that have been recognized, but then there are a couple others that may have been a concussion as well. They just weren't labeled that. So you're looking at possibly 5 concussions this year.
Yes.
And the symptoms are there. It's plain to the eye.
That's how he's throwing the ball, man. He was concussed.
Yeah,
I was like, that's not a Tua throw. Where's he throwing the ball?
Like I was like, what is Tua doing? I'm like, he threw 3 picks, and I was like, these are not Tua picks.
Right? It was bad, horrible.
He had the concussion in the first half, and after that, he threw 3 picks and still went 7-13, but 3 interceptions. I mean, that's why I said I think somebody in Miami's organization, they need to be invested into Tua and have a team just for Tua that you monitor him 24/7, 365.
Right.
Making sure he's getting the treatment that he needs to be successful. So that's just my 2 cents.
And you got to kind of wonder, are they really invested in his well-being? Because it just doesn't seem like they are.
Not showing. I don't think so.
When it's consistently coming under question and he's being allowed to play through obvious symptoms,
dropping the ball.
They're not interested in his well-being. They're interested in getting to the playoffs. They're interested in getting this drive-through lane Super Bowl. I mean, it's been that way since he got there. I mean, they were ready to crucify him after 2 or 3 games because he wasn't Dan Marino incarnate.
Right.
They feel like they had this this need to be back in the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl right now, and to hell with him being healthy.
What cost? Yeah.
To hell with before this year. To hell with him having an offensive line. To hell with him having wide receivers and a coach that actually was invested in him instead of looking over his shoulder constantly wondering if he's going to try to pull Deshaun Watson through the back door.
Right.
I don't feel like the organization has his best interest at heart.
I agree. And then you think about Ross, the owner. Does he tell Chris Greer, if we find a quarterback in the second, third round, do we kind of jump on him as a, kind of a backup, but a guy that good enough could be the starter? They got to answer those questions in the offseason. So, because I think this will be Tua's fourth year. In the NFL, that fourth year, fifth year, if you're doing pretty good, you get that extension on that rookie deal, or they offer you a crazy salary. So
yeah, this is third year.
Yeah,
I agree with Javarius Cole here.
Yeah, we got to think about his life, man. Football, come back and chill at Bama, be an assistant, and chill around people who love you. His life is not football.
But is Tua like Brady, man? Tua, if he gonna try a way to go out there and compete, man. Sometimes you gotta have. That's when you gotta have somebody that's grown enough in the group to say, "Hey, man, you gotta protect the athlete from himself."
Absolutely.
That's just my thinking. So,
excellent point. There's no question. His heart, his determination, who he is as a competitor, that will never come under question. But like you said, you got to have the head coach, you got to have the decision makers looking out and saying, you know what, I get what you're wanting to do. We appreciate what you're doing, but live to fight another day. You're coming out until we can get this thing under control, if we can get it under control.
I agree. It's going to be interesting.
Corey Lewis, do you think Tua has too many limitations to be an above-average quarterback with a soft arm? I don't feel like he has a soft arm.
It just sometimes he puts too much air up underneath it. But see, I think that a lot goes back to his hip injury, because you got to understand. Remember,
before he got hurt,
Bama, he was dropping dimes downfield to Waddle. And
holding on to the ball too long
holding on to the ball too long cost him to where he is now.
Yep,
basically.
Yeah, it's plagued his career for as long as we've known him. And we'll definitely revisit this later on. But we gotta get to, while we're here, the Sugar Bowl. It's game week. We're just a few days away, guys.
Yeah.
How you feeling? Listen. People have been questioning Alabama's motivation in this, that you got, two sides of the fence. One, we're either going to blow them out. This is going to be like playing Utah State, not Kansas State, or you got another crowd saying, they're not going to be really motivated to be there because we didn't get to the playoffs, both of which are BS. I'll add that in there. But Kansas State, I'm not going to question their motivation. They're coming in with a chip on their shoulder. They're going to be ready to play. Blue-collar guy, blue-collar mindset. Guys, in terms of motivation, where do you feel like Alabama's motivation is going into this game?
Prove the playoff and get it wrong.
Look at the DBs. Hey, man.
It starts with the leaders, the team leaders, Bryce and Will. Their motivation is going to determine the team's motivation. Them playing in it, that shows something. So I think we'll be ready. Come game time, we'll be ready to finish strong. It's all about finishing strong at Bama for Bryce and Will. Come out, ready to play. I just don't want to see us come out flat and let Kansas State dictate the pace to us. I'm beyond that now. It's time for us to get back to dictating the pace on both sides of the ball.
And stop being so predictable. Bill O'Brien, Pete Golden.
Hey, look, when Pete get this look right here on the play call up in the booth, he confused. Man. He confused. Look at that look. You get cross-eyed like that. Oh Lord, you don't know what's coming,
man.
Hey, but look, man, you look at him, man. I hate talking about opponents, but in a nail of light. But man, you look at those DBs, man, boy. If we really just want to take advantage of them, like we really should, Bryce is going to be healthy. His arm is back, so we can take shots downfield. Tyler Harris should be healthy. Bun,
Brooks,
man, let's go, man. I say let's get Bryce. Let's send Bryce out on top with a 400-yard passing game. Let's get the ball in Gibbs' hands, solidify that first round, and let's let Will Anderson loose.
get like 3 sacks.
Yeah, let's let Will Anderson loose. Those guys are going out. Let's put them on showcase, man.
That's right.
I will say, in terms of Kansas State's defense, their strength is in their secondary. They're only giving up 5 yards per pass play, but then when it comes to the running game, they're not so good. They're giving up close to 6 yards per carry, and I think that's where we need to exploit them.
Yeah.
Instead of Bill O'Brien,
that's why they you don't have to throw on them. If you can run them that way, you don't have to throw on them. You can.
This game reminds me of going into that Arkansas game. I think they got Drew Sanders-like players on their defense. Guys can, mobile that can do some things defensively, but we're going to have to come with it. I'm looking for Gibbs to have a big game and, Bryce to have a big game. So it's up down coordinators right now. Hopefully Bill O'Brien on his way out, he puts up a good impression. That way he can go to New England and do his thing. And, we get a big victory. So
it's all about getting guys like Gibbs in space, getting guys like Isaiah Bond in space, because if you look at Kansas State's defense, they don't do so well in space. They're not very consistent. They can look great for a couple series, but then you can totally expose them. So Bill O'Brien, I know it's against his nature, be a little creative, be a little bit of, show some innovativeness. Do what, Colin Klein is doing, run jet sweeps, find creative ways to get balls into your playmakers' hands. And no, we don't have a guy that can burn you over the top, but then get them involved in other ways. Klein's doing that on Kansas State. They don't have any studs at wide receiver, but they're getting the ball down the field little by little, finding ways to get them open. Malik Knowles, Cade Warner, AJ Garcia, they're disciplined players. They run great routes. And when it's, third down, a lot of times they're going to come down with that ball. We need to be doing the same thing. But heavy dose of the run game is what I'm looking at right now. Expose that front seven of Kansas State. They got a few good players, but they don't match up so well when it comes to that run game. And, hey, get them gassed with Jameer, but then give it to Jace. Just let Jace pound. And then give it to Roy Dale. Hit him in the mouth some more.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, I think you're right about the running game being key. Because we need to keep Deuce Vaughn on the sideline as much as possible. That running back for Kansas State, he's guys lights out. So
legit.
He kind of reminds me of Austin Eckler from the Chargers. A guy with just consistent. I think it's on our coordinators. If our coordinators have put in the preparation, and I think it's important for Pete to be prepared for things that go off script. I think they're gonna try to go tempo, no huddle like Tennessee, LSU, kind of throw some things at us at the beginning of the game to see how we react. And I think if Pete can weather that storm and handle that, I think we'll have a dominant performance.
So if we're able to just shut down Deuce Vaughn, I don't feel like Will Howard has it within him to beat us with his arm. Now, he's an excellent player. He's a blue-collar guy. Like I said, he's going to fight. He's going to find ways to keep them in the game. But the thing is, if things start going on a downward turn, if you watch him, he gets very nervous, starts making bad decisions. He also holds the ball too long. So if we dial up some blitzes, if we're doing that cheetah package and Will Anderson, Chris Braswell, Dallas Turner get turned loose, it may be a long day for him, but definitely don't overlook him. What do you guys think?
It's all about preparation. Excuse me, for me. If we're prepared, nobody wants to see Bama. But if we're not prepared, it could be a long night. So we're prepared for everything. Run fits, just locked in and loaded. I think we'll be fine. But it starts with practice, and then hopefully the guys can put in the work, the attitude to go out there and make statements. You know, you look at Brian Branch, Helms, Battle, Totu, Byron Young. I mean, these guys are going to the Senior Bowl and all this stuff, and they got to put some good film on there for the NFL world to see that way they can be like, man, I want to draft this guy. You know, so I think a lot of those guys are going to be looking to make plays and, you know, lead Bama the right way.
Right. You know, in terms of the motivation we talked about earlier, I think other than, of course, they're going to play for their brothers. These guys like Will Anderson and Bryce Young, they could have opted out of this thing, but they decided to come back and play one more round. That speaks volumes, you know, in terms of playing for brotherhood, but also too, like you mentioned, Matt, they're having an on the field interview for the NFL. A lot of these guys are going to want to see them shine and want to know what they're all about. This is opportunity for a few guys to up their stock, like a DeMarco Helms, Henry To'oTo'o. And of course, Jameer Gibbs, I feel like has already put what he needs to on paper to probably garner a first-round grade. But, yeah, this is a showcase for the NFL. There's one stat that is glaring to me in terms of this game, and it has to do with discipline, like we mentioned earlier. Alabama's averaging 71 yards per game in penalties, whereas Kansas State, very disciplined team, sound team, only averaging 41 yards per game in penalty yards. That's a very telling stat right there.
That is. Yeah.
Yep.
Inexcusable.
But we know I'm a conspiracy theorist. I feel like 25% of those calls are just hyper focused. They call them on Alabama just because it's Alabama. You know, some of the PIs weren't really PIs, but because it's Alabama and Alabama played on
that one in the Tennessee game.
The crowd is in it, and they're like, "Oh, throw the flag." Then they throw the flag. Like a lot of that stuff. Like, yeah, we're undisciplined, but to your point, Justin, we do got to correct those penalties.
Yeah, the good thing here is that we won't have SEC officiating. So that is already in our favor. So definitely a stat worth throwing out. But as we move closer to the game, guys, who do you feel like in terms of the younger guys have the opportunity to get their shine? Is it someone we know, or is it someone that we've kind of forgotten about? Because if you look, you know, in the course of bowl game history, we've had some guys show up like a Derrick Henry, 2013, 2014. Wasn't really used during the regular season, but time for the bowl really showed out. Who do you think is going to be that guy to have a Derrick Henry type performance?
What about Jamarion Miller?
Ooh,
I don't.
My boy, the ball.
I don't see him making an impact in this game, but I'm thinking, you know, with Trey Songz going, he's going to be one of the younger guys between one of the trio of Bun, Prentice, or Law. I'm thinking of one of those three guys, young guys, is going to have a big game.
If Preston comes out and does something.
Yeah, but I think he's behind. It'll definitely come from one of the three of Prentice, Law, or Bun.
Okay.
I can see just trying to get the ball to Prentice early.
Yeah.
Kind of like how that Texas game started off a little bit. Bond early, Gibbs, of course. Yeah, I just want us to go out there and be effective. So,
good point by John Densmore. I want to hear that Bama player chant. Then you know about to get real.
Yeah, that's right.
Can I give you my hunch today? So,
your hunch?
My hunch, yes. I know.
Okay.
It's crazy. I feel like today has been, when it comes to the next OC, for some odd reason, I have this crazy Joe Brady vibe today. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe, but I don't know. I don't know if Saban's working some magic behind the scenes, but I don't know why I'm so high on Joe Brady today. I don't know what it was, but you look at bowl practice, Bill O'Brien looked like he's out of there. Like he's already ready to go to New England. I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know why I'm getting this big Joe Brady vibe. So that's my take for today. if we get Joe Brady, you can say Matt had this crazy hunch on final whistle and he called it. But I don't know why I'm getting this Joe Brady hunch. I don't know why.
I don't think Joe Brady really liked the college game.
Yeah.
But Bama is different. We don't require a whole lot of recruiting from our offense coordinator,
Yeah.
So
hey, y'all listen to who Dan says is going to be the next offensive coordinator. He got Ricks to us last week, so he has a little bit of something going on.
Be the OC, Dan?
Yeah, Dan, since you got it right in terms of Ricks.
Who Danny? Not Houdini, who Danny.
Oh man, you put me on the spot. I really don't know definitely yet, but a few names to put out there, Dan Mullen, I'm not, I say
I'm not that high on Dan Mullen for some odd reason.
It's not a sexy name, but but you look at his track record.
He's effective. Yeah, you look at his track
record, man. What he did at Utah, what he did at Florida, he had Mississippi State #1 in the country, man. Come on.
Yes, man.
Yeah, but when they came to T-Town.
Yeah, I was sure our next offensive coordinator before he got the job at Arkansas State was going to be Butch Jones. I was just waiting for that to happen, but unfortunately, he got the job. So I know Saban has some guys. We need to watch and see who he brings in. It might be another Lane Kiffin splash type of hire.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury. Herman.
Yeah.
Herman head coach at FAU.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Isn't Kingsbury still with
yeah, he about to get the boot.
He's
Yeah, I can see it.
I didn't know Tom Herman was at FAU.
Yeah.
But there's one little thing in terms of offensive coordinators I want to address. I saw a video clip earlier. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Bill O'Brien had Jalen Milroe taking reps at wide receiver.
Yes,
First of all, my question is, okay, why you wait till now to add a possible wrinkle if indeed that's what you're doing? Is that
it was just one rep though. That was it.
Yeah, but I mean, the in terms of what that could actually do is it'd really be a great thing for us if we just show a little bit of creativity, throw something in there that nobody's expecting,
and then it's just to show that during the viewing period.
So that's where I got my Joe Brady hunch from, because I follow the NFL, and if you watch the Buffalo Bills practice, Josh Allen does a lot of that. They do a lot of that in the quarterback practice where they have Josh Allen run routes and everything. So that's why I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of the Buffalo Bills. That's why I got the whole Joe Brady hunch. Because watching Milroe do that, I didn't know if Saban was kind of letting something know, let the media see something, but that's the only hunch. The reason I said that, because I know Buffalo does a lot of that with Josh Allen. They let him run routes and all that stuff. So
okay. Well, guys, we're coming up towards the end of the show. It's time to go around the room and give predictions for the Sugar Bowl. Dan, since you are the all-wise, all-knowing recruiting analyst to the stars, and you brought us Desmond Ricks, I'll let you start things off. How do you see this game playing out? What's the score, and who are your offensive and defensive MVPs?
Oh, okay. Well, I see the game starting out slowly for us, unfortunately. On the offensive side of it, I think the defense is gonna keep us in the game. We're gonna pull away eventually, but I don't like to talk about coaches, but I just don't see O'Brien getting off to a fast start. Our defense is gonna keep us in the game. We're gonna eventually pull away. I say Bama 31-14.
Okay. Matt, I hear the wheels turning.
I'm gonna be a little bit more positive. Positivity, Matt. Bama 53, Kansas State 28.
Who's your offensive and defensive MVP, sir?
Offensive, Bryce. Defensive, I think Brian Branch. I think he's gonna have like 14 tackles, couple pass breakups. I think he's just going to be all over the field.
Offensive coordinator Chris. You're on mute, sir.
44-23. Bryce will be your MVP. Offensively and defensively, got to be Will, man. He going out with a bang.
Yeah. And before you say something, Justin, I'm going to get your score. But can we talk about this Georgia-Ohio State game real quick?
Yeah, we can do that. I'll go ahead and drop my score. Listen, I've been going back and forth. I feel like if we play to the Bama Standard, I feel like that we can win 45-21.
I like it.
If we've been doing what we have shown this entire year, where we kind of drag ass and just play flat, then it's going to be like a 28-24 win. Because if you let Kansas State hang around, it can be an issue. But I'm like Matt, positive Justin. I'm going to go with my first score, and I hope that's what we end up coming out with. But go ahead, speak on the Georgia-Ohio State game.
Like I said, I think Georgia got screwed by the playoff committee, and I got Georgia to win the game, but don't be surprised if C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison have a big game going at Ringo in that secondary. I'm just saying they're going to look at LSU putting up 500-plus yards against them. Listen, that game can be tricky. Like, I'm just saying. Ohio State we've seen it happen. We've seen them do it versus Clemson. So that game can be a little bit tricky. You know what I'm saying? I still think Georgia wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State, matches up really well with them. C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison, gunning it, letting that pass game go loose. It's going to be interesting. So,
okay.
I don't know. I just had to get my 2 cents off.
I was looking at a little clip that was telling about team talent and where they ranked and how many 5 stars, 4 stars, and 3 stars. And I did not realize that Georgia and Ohio State were neck and neck. Like, I think Georgia had 15 5 stars. Ohio State either had 14 or 16. One of them had 53 4 stars. The other one had 52 4 stars. And it was like one fewer 3 star. It was ridiculous. I was like, wow. I did not know that they were so similar.
That's what I'm saying. I think
it's going to come down when you have that type of talent. It's going to come down to coaching, penalties, and turnovers.
Yeah.
Kicking game go to factor in too.
Yeah. Also, it's going to come down to how many of those 4 or 5 stars are in the trenches. And I hate to break it to you guys, man. I got Georgia winning double digits, man.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh, my prediction was Georgia. Let me get it right now. 45-24, Ohio State 24. But then again, we've seen it. We've seen the vulnerable Georgia like Missouri, Kent State, Georgia. They better come out playing. We know they will.
But that's not what you're gonna get.
Yeah. But
with
we seen Ohio State once they got the rolling, man. How dangerous they can, how they look once they got the rolling. We've seen it now.
I think Stroud gonna try to throw that thing. Ryan Day, they're gonna try to go out and throw that thing and not let.
They don't throw it. They're going at the secondary. They're going to tank.
Not let Jalen Carter in that front 7.
3 and number 5 they're gonna go at them.
All right.
To me, that's the most interesting game outside of Bama, Kansas State. That Georgia Ohio State game.
I think that a Rose Bowl, Utah, Penn State.
Oh yeah,
well, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I want to see that Clemson.
Clemson gonna kick Tennessee tail, man.
Yeah,
Tennessee with Joe Milton, it's gonna be a butt whoop because Tennessee secondary and then your boy's not playing.
And Hyatt's not playing either.
Hyatt's not playing. Order the other receiver with Kennedy, number 4.
Oh man, it might get ugly for Tennessee.
It'll get ugly, yeah.
I don't know if Ruben
it's gonna be worse than the South Carolina Tennessee game.
Come on, Tulane.
All right, it's time to wrap things up, guys. If you would go around the room, tell the fans what y'all got coming next, and then how they can find you on social media. Matt Cadell.
I'll go first. Hit me up, Matt Cadell, MCadell11 on Twitter. You know, I got this Football U podcast on Monday nights. Hit me up. But yeah, call your friends. Tell them to turn into the Justin Riley Network. He's got a lot of great shows on there that I catch up with every week. You know, just the great clips. So tune into the Final Whistle next week. We'll be here.
Dan.
Oh yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Dan James the Fourth, LinkedIn, Dan James the Fourth. Yeah, you find me here. Final Whistle, same time, same place.
Tell them about your OnlyFans.
No, that's you, Chris. So we had that in the chat a little bit earlier. So if anybody clicked on that, be sure to use the promo code offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Bubblicious.
Hey, have a shirt of the OC. The OC.
Get a 50% discount now if you enter in Velvet Thunder.
Thunder.
My thong line.
Wow, I just got an image that I cannot get out of my head. It'll be the theme of my next nightmare. So I appreciate that, Chris. Dang.
But you can find me on y'all crazy. But you can find me on Facebook, Chris K. James Sr. On Twitter at Coach Chris James. I'm not really on Instagram. I hardly ever use that, but I think it's CKJ32 or something. I hardly ever use my Instagram. I just laugh. But those two are my main.
You still have a MySpace page, don't you?
He does.
Black Planet.
Black Planet. Back page.
College Club. Matt, you remember that?
Yeah.
College Club. I just had a College Club page.
Y'all going way back, man. This is crazy.
Man, y'all are old as hell.
What about your AOL Messenger? I know you.
Oh,
yeah.
No, man, hey, you be like this, falling asleep, waiting for your computer to crank up.
You've got mail.
The good old days.
Take 2 minutes for one web page to load up.
Well, yeah, folks. Tune in to the Bama Standard channel. We got things just blowing up here, as the gentlemen in this panel have greatly pointed out. We got the Final Whistle on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing our thing where we cover every aspect of Bama sports, even in the pros, as you heard earlier. Wednesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Bo Scarborough Show, the developmental focus points, starring Bo Scarborough, Trent Richardson, and Christian Jones, and Blake Sims doing their thing.
Great
Thursday, we are going to have another edition of the Bama Standard right here on this channel at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, because a lot of our guys from our normal crew weren't able to make it tonight, and they still feel like they have something to be said before this game kicks off on Saturday. So please tune into that. Blake Sims will be on as a guest as well. Blake Sims, we're wearing him out. So check that out. Sunday evenings, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's the Bama Standard postgame show with me and Coach Smook. So we got a lot of things going on. If you hadn't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know what you think about us. If you watch the replay, we want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. That'll do it for all of us. We'll be back next week to talk about the Sugar Bowl. Roll Tide, fellas.
Roll Tide.
Yes, sir.